India seals trade pact with Europe group. What is it? What was behind the second biggest man-made methane leak ever? And why is India's fifth generation fighter jet so special? Hello everyone, I am Manas Srivastava. Today is 11th March and I'm here with the three must reads from the Indian Express today. My first pick for today comes from the front page. Okay, now this is a big headline, this is a big news, and therefore it is important to read it from different perspectives, whether it is from the factual perspective or analytical perspective. Also, is particular news ke around, there have been a lot of explainers, editorials, which will keep coming. So it's important to read it now because the deal has been signed. And when I say the deal, the headline is $100 billion, 10 lakh jobs in 15 years. India seals trade pact with Europe group. Okay, so what is this Europe group and what is the deal? इसके बारे में आपको first paragraph में information मिल जाती है. This particular news is written by, the article is written by Ravi Datta Mishra, and it reads that India and the four-nation European Free Trade Association, that is EFTA, this is the group, an intergovernmental grouping of Iceland, Liechtenstein, and Norway and Switzerland signed a trade pact on Sunday that will see the EFTA countries committing to invest $100 billion in India and aiming to generate 10 lakh jobs over 15 years period in exchange for tariff concessions for their pharma, chemical products and minerals, among other items. Now, various things to know about this particular news. First of all, obviously this group, where are these countries? Just open the map, look at these countries. Apart from that, you should also know that the negotiations were done earlier also, but it was abandoned in 2013. Okay, now there are two things you should keep in mind while you're reading this particular news, is also what is happening in other part of the world also. For example, there has been a geopolitical shift. Also, the common goal is basically to divert the economies from dependencies on China. Okay, तो ये common goal है, और इसके साथ साथ you will also see that there's certain kind of complexities with other deals. For example, with UK, and then also with European Union. All right, now just a quick thing, just look at how many countries and who are the part of European Union. Okay, you should know it by now. Now, why other deals have been abandoned or not been successful, uska ek particular reason yahan pe diya hua hai. The reason is that Indian industry resisted competition and also sought a greater level of protection, rendering the economy uncompetitive. Okay, so it is the resistance behind the Indian industry that many such deals were not successful. But then why this deal becomes very important, this particular pact becomes important, because, and as this paragraph mentions, that with the EFTA being the first set of European countries to sign a deal with the investment commitment, the pact could serve as a template when dealing with developed nations who will have greater market access in a high tariff country like India and have investments to offer. Okay. Now, as I told you, you have to, think about that why EU के साथ deal इतनी मतलब इतनी आगे क्यों नहीं बढ़ पा रही है and all these things. So obviously you have to understand the geopolitical tension there or geopolitical shifts there, and the complexities to deal with a group which has many countries. Similar thing which is being mentioned here is with GCC. Now, what is GCC and what are the countries involved in GCC? It's mentioned in this particular article also, but you should know by now. Now, with GCC, the problem is the tension in West Asia and also the complexities when a lot of countries are involved. ठीक है, तो ये सारी चीजें आपको थोड़े ध्यान में होनी चाहिए from the perspective of your interview or when you're writing, descriptive mains answer. You should know all these things. There's also a mention of India-Oman deal. So this particular India-Oman deal, आपको उस पे थोड़ी नजर रखनी चाहिए. And this one paragraph which talks about the countries here in this particular block with which we are having the deal, that Switzerland is the trading partner of India Switzerland is the largest trading partner, I'm sorry, of India, followed by Norway in the bloc. Okay. Then also what this particular deal excludes, okay, इसके around question बनाया जा सकता है. The investment commitment in the EFTA deal excludes the crucial pension and wealth funds that could have given greater confidence to the investor. So remember, this particular news item becomes important not only from the perspective of facts, but also from the perspective of analysis. Okay, so एक particular यहाँ पे बात ये भी हुई है that since election season is going to start in our country, so this deal becomes, crucial to be looked at that from that perspective. But from the exam point of view, you can keep the politics aside and focus on the facts, focus on the analysis, impact, significance, and so on and so forth. All right. Now, moving to the second pick of the today. The second pick from the newspaper comes from the famous explained section, and there is a big explainer written by Amrita Nayak Datta. It says that India's indigenous fifth generation fighter jet AMCA features why it is important. Now, the very headline gives you two important relevant facts. One, this is an indigenous. Okay, so there is no it's not jointly developed by any other country, and it's a fifth generation fighter jet. So you should ask a question to yourself that why is it so special? Now look at the first 2-3 paragraphs. It gives you a good amount of information that what is this all about. The Cabinet Committee on Security CCS last week declared a rupees 15,000 crore project to design and develop the Advanced Medium Combat Aircraft, that is AMCA, India's fifth generation fighter multi-role fighter jet. Okay, the ADA under the Defense Research and Development Organization, that is DRDO, will be the nodal agency for executing the program and designing the aircraft. It will be manufactured by state-owned HAL. Now, the last 3 lines of this introduction, the aircraft will put India in a select group of nations that have their own fifth generation fighter aircraft. So you should ask yourself, which are these countries who have their own fifth generation fighter aircraft? The answer is there in the explainer. Okay, so it's US, it's Russia, and it's China. And you should also know which are the aircraft, what is the name of these aircraft which are mentioned in this particular explainer. Then there is also, a discussion on the features of AMCA. I don't think you should go deep into that, but what is so special or why AMCA is special, that is something very important. Just for an information, पहले एक particular discussion था AMCA के around in 2007. Then we were planning to jointly do it with Russia, but then that was abandoned, that was withdrawn, and this is indigenous. Then there's also mention of Tejas. Tejas has been in news a lot. So Tejas is a 4.5 generational single engine multi-role aircraft. Okay, so this is the LCA, the indigenous light combat aircraft. तो ये सारे नाम आपको पता होना चाहिए और क्यों स्पेशल है. But this particular aircraft, why is it special? It is so special because of its stealth features, STEALTH. Okay, sometimes when you write the spelling in your descriptive answer, sometimes you can make a mistake there. So it is important because the aircraft will have a low electromagnetic signature, which will make it difficult for enemy radar to detect. So it will make it difficult for enemy radar to detect. So radar से ये detect नहीं हो सकता है, and it will be difficult in fact. Or then this whole paragraph becomes important when it talks about its special features. So remember the stealth features, it cannot be easily detected by the enemy radar. Now, again, I would like you to pay attention that this particular explainer is important from the perspective of your objective prelims examination. Defense related technology, defense related news, defense related science, and are very important for all kind of examination. The level of questions can be from easy to difficult. Easy, only factual. Difficult when they ask you why and how. All right, तो उस perspective से आप ये particular explainer पढ़ें. All right, now let's move to the third must read or third must pick from the day. It comes from the online section. So when you go to the indianexpress.com, you'll have this particular explainer written by Dipanita Nath, and the explainer is titled as Scientists Release Findings on Possibly the Second Biggest Man-Made Methane Leak Ever. Now, the news around methane have been too much in news. Remember last time we also discussed methane sat. So methane and methane related news are important. Okay, you should get that sign. Now, this particular incident happened last year, but it is still in news. So recently, scientists revealed that a drilling incident which took place last year at an exploration well in southwestern Kazakhstan led to one of the worst methane leaks in history. And that's why it is important. It was possibly the second biggest man-made methane leak ever. Now, we all know that methane is a potent greenhouse gas. And if you remember, when we were discussing methane sat, we have talked about methane and its impact on the environment. So go back to that particular video, but also in this particular explainer there have been a talk about what will be the environmental impact of Kazakhstan leak. This is very important, so you have to read it. You have to read that why is methane the biggest driver of climate change, one of the biggest drivers of climate change. Wherever you will read news related to greenhouse gases and climate change, you will also always get a mention about Paris Agreement of 2015. So remember what are these its targets, keep it in mind. You will also hear a lot about this agency called IEA, that is International Energy Agency. Okay, so all these things you have to keep noting down from the perspective of facts and can be very important. Just look at the geography of this particular region, look at the atlas where this area is, so that you get it more clear in your mind and it remains and you can retain and recall whenever questions around it is formed. That's all from me today. I'll come again with 3 must-reads tomorrow. You can tell me your 3 must-reads from the newspaper or online at manas.srivastava@indianexpress.com. Think smart, work hard, conquer your goal. Bye-bye.